All right, homies. AOT1 was a fantastic series. Absolutely amazing series. Let me just make a note for my editor that I'm starting right now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. The series, I thought coming into it, I did think AO played better League, but the main thing I said was what everyone else is saying is T1 at this MSI, the series against Bilibili was some of the best League of Legends they played, and then they topped themselves, and then they topped themselves again. They're finding new peaks real time, They're finding new peaks real time, and I think the Game 5 was really showcasing, a team that just has ice in their veins. Absolute ice in their veins. Everyone's going to look at AL and say that this was a draft-related loss. I don't think so. If there's anything that would be maybe draft-related, is the fact that I think Tabe tried too hard to make the composition good. The reason I say so is I think on paper, this is a good draft. But T1 is playing full comfort outside of Faker, right? Faker Hui, I think when this champion was released, he played it. But I haven't seen Faker Hui in forever, guys. He just got pushed into Game 5, post-bans with Talia out, Azir out, Ari, LeBlanc, and he picked Hui, right? But Skarner, comfort. Jinx, comfort. Alistar, big comfort. And then Gragas for Doran. T1 just went full comfort in the Game 5. Similar to the idea that they had in this Game 5. This is also full comfort. But it made a hell of a more sense, right? It had made a hell of a lot more sense. You knew that, of course, Jinx here is going to, be the centerpiece. If Jinx gets enough gold, this is going to be the thing that makes them, win the game. In this particular game, I do think that this blue side draft requires a lot of finesse, right? The main thing that you need to focus on is the Olaf economy, because Olaf on paper can be very good against these champions, but if Olaf doesn't get enough gold, then he's going to die to Jinx. But if he gets enough gold, then he can, of course, kill the Jinx together with his teammates. Right? AL need to play a game where they just play the lane phases out, and their lane phases are strong. Red side will have a very hard time being proactive in such a game. Right? They should be able to play a side lane game, and they should be able to generate more gold. Maybe they give up on objective to get the turret to one side. This is the idea. I think that Olaf, like people calling for Zed, but playing Zed against Skarner, Alistar, Gragas is very hard, guys. You ult and you can frame, the CC perfectly on Zed ult when it lands. There's a lot of counterplay in the red side composition. Olaf is good against high CC comps, but the issue for Olaf is that he needs to be ahead of the curve gold-wise. If we look at the fine details of this game, right? The fine details, right? I think the main thing that stood out, right, was the ice in T1's veins. I think that the start of the game was solid. They managed to, of course, get the kill on Flandre, which was brilliant. Gumuyushi on the fake, on the cheater base. They stacked the wave onto Flandre with Doran push out, and Doran just stayed, didn't TB bot yet while Keria's farming. And this was a very good play. Very sad Gumuyushi didn't get the kill right, which of course is crucial. Ona got one, and this was a great start. We continue. There was this moment where Flandre is getting this wave stacked on him, but the issue is Ziggs has TP and Shanks reaches level 6, so they are defending him, so they can't really dive him. In this sequence, blue side gets Dragon, which is super crucial, which means that they can stall out the game, and that of course is a big deal for the game. And we continue. Here in this spot, right, the continuation for anyone's legend. We're going to have a setup on the grubs that they secure, and here you can see that AL is very tuned in the idea that they need to focus on the farm of Tarzan, because they get spotted on these grubs, and anyone's legends, they have of course the TF ult on the hover, so T1 decides to not contest this because they don't want to throw away gold into enemy side. And then finally here, you see that Tarzan just abandons the last grub because he wants to defend his bot side. He wants legends contesting the mid wave on time. And here you see Tarzan dropping the third grub because he doesn't want to lose any camps. He needs to stay ahead of the curve. They know that's a part, of course, of the game for Tarzan. And we continue deep, and finally we're going to have the situation on Drake that just decides everything, because the arms race in this game, guys, the arms race in this game is, does Jinx have enough damage to kill the Olaf when he all-ins? Or can they not kill him, and do they have enough, you know, power to force through? That's why Olaf is kind of in a weird spot, because on paper Olaf can be fantastic. Like, Olaf is great in this game. But is Olaf useful enough with the gold he can generate in jungle? That's the main question. And that becomes very tricky in my opinion. So here, they're preparing for the Drake. Drake number 2. You can see that Faker is going to base for Blackfire Torch and TP back. And T1 are in position. They're dropping vision. Gumayusi doesn't have item yet, but blue side doesn't have big items either. I think this is a decent fight timer for blue side, all things considered. Sundered Sky finished. They have some CC. They have some old Gumayusi at this point in time. Is not so strong. And this is just the crucial moment. This is just the crucial moment. The ice in the veins of course, owner to find this play. You can see the jitterness of an anyone's legend. This is the type of play that gets in your head, and I think T1 showcased here, you know, the level of clutch that really comes through, you know? Because in this moment, Kayle is looking for a game-winning play, but after this pink ward falls, from our POV, Kayle has no vision right now. And Kayle is looking for the hero Poppy ult, and he's pushing forward a little bit too far. And in this moment, Owner is, of course, ulting from Fog of War. He cancels the Poppy ultimate, and Drake is not low enough for anyone's legend to force. And in this moment, where the Poppy ult gets cancelled by the Owner ult out of Fog, gets him at the end of the sting, Doran also gets the TP through. Shanks is focused on trying to save this guy, and they don't spot the fact that Doran is coming into the pit. So Shanks loses his position, he gets bonked out, and Shanks has nowhere to flash. And here comes Jinx. They secure a second kill for her. And anyone's legend loses some, like anyone's legends lose summoners, lose the Drake, and funnel 2 kills into Gumayusi's pocket. And at this point, you know, you have, of course, the details of the composition. Jinx, if she's ahead of the curve, she'll be able to plow through Olaf and Aatrox through the conditions of what blue side need in order to win. What blue side need to win is that they need to be able to throw cards on the front line, chip away at their health, and then Aatrox Olaf need to be able to explode onto the Jinx. But now the worst nightmare is here. Gumayusi has so much gold, and he's going to be accelerated in the game. Now the final straw that broke the camel's back, in my opinion. Anyone's legend this entire tournament had obsession over Rift Herald, for good reasons. Their Rift Herald priority has been a massive benefit for them, and also they have done a great job of securing Rift Heralds. But usually in moments of pressure, this is where you revert back to what's comfortable. Why is it so hard for players to break habits? It's because their habits get forged in moments of stress. And the people that can't deal with stress well revert back to their OG habits. The same way they lean on Rift Herald for a play, the same way your favorite player suddenly turns into an Inter, is because they revert to old habits, things that they've added to their play. It doesn't get cemented until you do it under the biggest amount of pressure. I did hear Faker's answer about Kalista picks, even if it's 0-10. I also wanted to highlight, because Owner said in the interview too, Game 5 is about who keeps their nerves. And one mistake snowballs into one another because you revert back to behaviors that make you comfortable. You're no longer making the best decisions, you're making comfortable decisions. Because after this kill on Faker here on side, Faker keeps Flash to have it, of course, for the objective that is spawning, which is Rift Herald. Here in this moment, Ziggs TPs into top, and they're trying to break the top turret with the Ziggs and the Grubbies, which is very good. But it also means that their tempo for Rift Herald is very bad. Their tempo for Rift Herald is very, very bad here, guys. And in a lot of moments here, what you would like to see from blue side is that they make a full commitment into bottom side, and they race because they have grubs. That is the best decision. But anyone's legend, revert back to, of course, what's comfortable. Right now, they are face shaking into areas they have no vision in, and they don't have enough gold on their targets yet. They need to generate more gold. Aatrox finished on the sky, sure, but they are face checking into the enemy. And right now, the front line of T1 is a little bit too tanky. Even here, Kyle can't even enter. He can't even drop a ward. T1 is clearing everything. Any reasonable player, even AL in any other game besides this game 5 here, they would be able to piece it together. But that's what makes T1 so damn dangerous. Their lights are bright the whole damn year, and then when other teams experience the same, then you are in a situation where they are in their comfort zone. That's why, you know, I said in my breakdown, even though, you know, I said I expected AL to be better today because I thought that AL showed better league, it just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter sometimes, especially in those game 5s, you know? I don't think Owner was necessarily correct. No, of course, it's like there's a mix of it. You are understanding it way too literal, Andrew Gross, to just score a point on Owner. Like, I mentioned it as well, as like, T1 is playing full comfort champs with Faker on Hui. That's it, you know? AL played better today? No. That's not what I'm saying. AL had some sequences that were absolutely insane, like some dives that they did that broke the whole game. Like, AL looked really good in their wins, right? But in this moment, AL is taking a very, very bad fight. And T1, they're just posturing. They are looking for this fight. They're very happy. They know they have a positional advantage. They say, AL, come, join us. Ziggs ult doesn't land. AL still are looking for something that is just not there. TF no ult. Doran is kiting back against Flandre. Gumayushi poking. And then in the end, Tarzan, the Poppy ult, no value. Keria dodges it, gets the combo through. You see Tarzan also ulting, you know? Ulting absolutely nothing, running away with his ultimate to pick up an eye that he didn't even get. And T1, they're just comfortable here. Shanks dives too deep. Gumayushi is resetting out the wazoo. Basically, at this point, they have too much gold, and AL's composition is going to be useless for the rest of the game. The lights were very, very bright. And T1 just put on their T1 sunglasses, brought in the clutchness. And that's it. And that's it. People are going to misunderstand. I'm taking away from what T1 did. No, I'm not. This is what makes them so crazy insane. This is what makes them so crazy insane. The other games, I think game 1, there were some throws back and forth. T1 made some mistakes after getting an advantage. AO made some mistakes. But the main issue here was that Kaiser got funneled a little bit too much gold. Because in this game, it's just an arms race, Gwen versus Kaiser. Similar to the point I made about Olaf and Jinx, right? Kaiser getting ahead in this game makes her kill this entire composition. The same thing for Gwen. But Gwen conditions were very poor. Because Doran got caught off guard in swap situations, which was very bad. And Kaiser got kills and they managed to freeze onto Gwen. And Kaiser got too many kills in some of the situations. They even got a 2v2 kill on bottom side. And then Hope had some pop-off moments in this one. Kaiser was tremendous in this one. Jace is a dangerous champion to lock in. It didn't really work out for him this time. We continue to the rest of the series. T1 in game here. I think that Renekton masterclass was brilliant. Like for me, Doran was the MVP today. The nuance of the things that he does were insane in my opinion. The amount of pressure he brings to the game, the amount of pressure he absorbs, the ways he finds himself to be so effective in terms of creating space is nuts. Is really, really insane. Take a look at this game 2, T1 versus AL game 2. Take a look at this one. Take a look at this one, all right? So, in this composition, the tricky thing here is that AL want a very stable game. They want to extend lane phase for as long as possible. Orianna eventually wins against Ryze, and Ezreal Karma chip away at Lucian Braum and win. In this particular game, T1 need to find ways to really break the game. Really break the game. Because they are hoping that as much skirmishes as possible break out in the first 15 to 20 minutes of the game. In a world where it doesn't happen, blue side is slowly going to dry out and bleed out because the opportunities that you get are not going to be that many. But the lineup here, Owner gets pushed out on bot, he gets chunked, he crosses to top side to get a crab. Look at Doran's wave management in tune with Owner's timer. Crashes the wave, Doran gets level 5, has perfect rage for the Ruthless Predator. And then here it comes. Flandre, low HP, Ruthless Predator stun, no auto reset, and Doran gets the job done. They're on the board. The reason this kill is so crucial is not only because it's gold for Owner and he accelerates in the game, but it's also because it fucks up the lane assignments of anyone's legend. So in this moment, Ezreal's basing. He should probably just open top. He should open top. But here, they TP top with Flandre. He should be going bot to match the Renekton, but he TPs top and Ezreal goes bot, and they are walking towards a Renekton lane. Which means that Doran now is laning 1v2, and Flandre is on a slow push where Lucian, Braum, and of course Lee Sin are going to be. So in this moment, they keep the freeze, Flandre is burning CS. Renekton, on the other hand, crashed the bot wave, and Ezreal is now slow pushing into him. Flandre is now going to bleed experience, and he's going to be in a position of trouble. Karma is coming to back him up, but what kind of a lane is Yorick Karma? I think, I have never seen anyone draft Yorick Karma in my games. Yorick Karma, he's going up here to try to help Flandre farm, but Renekton is now spotting the Drake, going for a little loop around, and he's playing on an even lane, while this wave is of course frozen. Braum is on mid wave, he shows, and now Karma shows too, they crash the wave, which is fine, but Renekton is doing this 1v2, and Braum is making sure that Faker has full vision around mid. Very important detail for Shanks is that he needs vision around mid in order to, of course, play aggressively and poke away and chip away at Ryze's health pool. Otherwise, Ryze can push and roam first. He needs to pay a price in HP when he pushes on the wave. And Faker now hovers to the Drake, they collect it, and now they cross into top once again. Renekton is winning the lane, and of course Lucian is a good spot. And now a simple Ryze ult onto Flandre in the wave position that is awkward. He gets killed, and T1 accelerate the game further. And then finally here, Doran is level 6, Lee Sin level 6 because he farmed his bottom side and the Drake. And these champions in 2v2 against a level 6 Lee Sin, level 6 Renekton, it's not the way. And Doran and Owner, the teamwork makes the dream work. They win the whole game. Absolutely win the whole game. And then finally for the grub play, Yorick is committing to bottom side. It's natural. Renekton pushes and then he hovers into mid. He wants to participate in this play. AL is trying to extend it and play it for as long as Renekton is not there because they have a window. And Tarzan here, after he gets subjugated W's out, he forces Hope's flash because he's afraid of the kick, of course. After a long back and forth, T1 managed to secure a majority of objective 2 and 1, and Doran says, fuck bot lane. Let's commit all the way. We have 2 grubs. The enemy bot lane is low HP. I'm here to take over the lane if the enemy bases, and then you can base and go bot and have a good time. Let's pressure the top turret the same way Yorick is pressuring it. From red side, AL, they just want to get the recalls in, and they want Yorick to TP top, and they defend him. But Doran is already lurking in position. And anyone's legend, when they see this TP, they think, oh shit, we need to fucking abandon this turret. And Roran took a loop around that made him dodge all vision. And then Doran just goes in, flashes, E, hope no flash. He got it cold. I think legit he got Ezreal flash, Ezreal no flash, and then E. And he just got a double kill. And the game just exploded. Completely exploded. Renekton masterclass from Doran. Doran and Owner, what a duo. What a damn duo, bros. What a damn duo. You know, Zeus is an extremely special player. You know, he has very unique champion pool. Mechanically, as a laner, is fantastic. But the cooperation with Doran and Owner, I don't think I've ever seen that level of cooperation with Owner Zeus. Zeus was always playing in isolation. Either he died on side or he won on side, you know? And then he showed up to fights and had the craziest flanks ever and just took control over the jungle space and pressured insane. That was Zeus' skill. But Doran and Owner, bro, they are brothers, bro. They're like two crocs in a pod, man. They are really, really playing together. I feel like Doran is more incorporated with the team more than Zeus ever was. Zeus was like, you know, he like imagine, you know, The Office, when they hire the guy who outsells them in a worse paper company. Zeus is basically that guy that doesn't work in the office. He's basically a traveling salesman. And then he shows up every now and then. And then he popped off completely because he was very handsome in the series. Right? That was Zeus's role. I feel like Doran is more incorporated and is really, really like together with Owner, and they can actually like, you know, incorporate teammates, support, jungle in their play. And I think it also helps. I have said this in the past, but I really think the Mata edition has made Owner and Korea into such team players, I feel like. Because Owner and Korea, always mechanical gods, always clutch, always mechanical gods. But they were always sometimes lacking. Like when Delight and Peanut were beating them, it's because they were faster on plays, faster to support their solo laners, and then the solo laners just got way more gold, and they were much better at, of course, playing the team game. But I feel like with Mata Edition, Owner and Korea, they have broken like new ceilings in terms of how they play together. And that is beautiful to see, and that bleeds into everything else. Let's take a look at the rest of the games. Game 3, plain and simple, same thing. I think the only positive thing that T1 really did this game was, of course, the Ornn roam. Same in this game. If AL can extend the lanes, they're going to win slowly. There was some team fights wins for AL. They did some crazy, insane dives in this game and really, really snowballed in a true LPL fashion. This was a Xin Zhao masterclass. This was a beautifully, beautiful, beautiful game from Anyone's Legend. They absolutely decimated T1 in this one. Really, really decimated them. In game 4, I think in the end, as crazy as it might sound, the Rakan steal on Drake 2 changed everything. You remember how yesterday we were talking about how the Jinx steal changed everything? Because take a look at this play here from Anyone's Legend. Shanks does a once-in-a-lifetime play that somehow will be forgotten because they didn't win the series.
IL caught out here in a lot of trouble.
Look at this moment here from Shanks. He holds Rakan ultimate to cancel Rakan W. Koki no flash from before. Look at Shanks holding ultimate, cancels Rakan W. Charms both, gets the E, WQ auto, and gets the auto off because it's uncancelable. Shanks gets a dream play. Dream play. Shanks is buying time. W's. He's going to E, flash out. Gumayushi is going to follow to find the lethal. But in the end, Anyone's Legend, they are the ones to win the fight. And then Tarzan with the crazy flash as well on Doran's flash. And he gets contact with Lilia. And Anyone's Legend is now going to get Drake 2. Anyone's Legend have a beautiful, beautiful team fight. But this cheeky steal from Korea, because Maokai used all of his smites in the fight. And Korea here has a 1200 damage smite because that's the third summoner he switches. TP and Ghost, and then third is smite. 1200 damage, Korea collects it. And now T1 has 2 dragons. T1 has 2 dragons. The rest of the game was, of course, around the dragons. And that Drake could have given Ale the cushion to be a little bit more selective in how they fight. Faker, Chunks hope, but of course he's going to heal up with the red buff and Q. And then Doran. He always travels the line between genius and stupid. But lately, it's been all genius. He pulls a Rakan ult. He pulls an Mbessa ult. Gets the E, stuns, flashes out, and then Qs to safety. AL has used the most important ults in their kit. They cannot fight this. They cannot fight this. Not without these ults. Sylas was a takeaway from Faker, but also it was a good smart lock-in because the supports in play was Rakan and Alistar, which meant that no matter what, Sylas will have a great ult. So either Rakan or Alistar, he will have a great ult. But here he used Rakan ult, so he doesn't have it anymore. And in the end, a sleep lands, and by some miracle, AL don't lose anybody. They don't lose anybody. But already, T1 now are on Soul Point. They aren't on 2 Drakes, they're on Soul Point. Because Keria stole a dragon with Spellbook. Let's fast forward a little bit to the main piece of action. T1 have done a great job of being first on objectives and controlling space and area with Owner and Keria, in my opinion. Keria has been such an annoying mosquito almost to the enemy. You know, a mosquito, like you're sleeping at night and you're just buzzing in your ear, you know. Somebody's just buzzing in your ear, like he wants to tilt you, you know? He wants to. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. Anyone's Legend pull the Atakan, but their damage is not the greatest with Senna being on midwave. They're just trying to punish the fact that Jax is on top, but they're just cool, calm, and collected. And Doran does a very cool thing here if we buy Ziggy's Armgut. Anyone's Legend a little bit desperate here in their approach. Hope gets to, of course, connect, and here comes Doran. He's around, and he's going to plant over. And Doran is cheekily playing back and forth, baiting back and forth, because he's got Ziggy's Armgut. They can't really look to turn on him. And look how annoying and frustrating he is. He bonks, gets a stun on the back line. Xayah gets, of course, the combo in. And Shanks is basically holding his abilities, waiting for the entry. Flandre is basically borderline doing what Doran did yesterday in that game 5, just kind of sending it on his lonesome, which kind of doesn't make sense into this comp. They kind of need to fight together. I think in a world where Gumayusi plays this fight better, I think that they just win the whole game here. But Gumayusi gets, of course, caught out by the charm of Shanks and gets one shot without using flash and ult, which, you know, at least you have it for the fight because the Drake is coming up. Mbessa falls, and in the end, this replay is a little bit too long because the setup, once again, T1 is here first. I was so damn surprised, I have to say. Sylas pushing top wave when Drake is already spawned is psychotic. I don't know, I have no clue why T1 is waiting so damn long to start this damn dragon. Dragon spawns now, and Sylas is showing on top wave. Just leash it. Just leash it. Punish this Sylas being top. Leash it now. The mid wave is so far. Who cares? Leash it. I was so surprised. Because look when they finally leash it. They one-shot it, bro. It disappears. It melts like butter, bro. They finally leash it. Look how fast they kill this shit, you know. It's fucking paper. Look how fast, how much damage they have. They leash it, murder it. Maybe they're just waiting for Fake to be in a better position, but Sylas is on top wave. They're not even playing to have a fight. And T1 was very, very good on the objective. Really insane in the setup. I think, for me, I think Faker and Gumayusi on this team, their job is to be stable. They need to be stable. They gotta be stable. And then the other 3 guys, they are cooking, bro. They are cooking. You don't need to have too many chefs in the kitchen. Faker, if Faker and Gumayusi are stable, I think Gumayusi is so insanely stable through and through. The cast of Doran, Keria, and Gumayusi, Keria, Geria. Gumayushi, it's 7 a.m. It's Owner, Doran, and Geria. Jesus. And an Owner gets a beautiful sleep. They try to turn on Faker, but Faker gets the defense from Rakan. CC chain. Kale tries to eat, but Doran is just unkillable. And Owner gets a beautiful fucking sleep on absolutely everybody. The funny thing is, this sleep woke everybody up. And that is all she wrote in this series. T1, you know, at the beginning, before the tournament started, I put T1 here. Second best at the tournament. And my take was T1, they have the most measurable intangibles ever. And I know, I predicted AL to win today. I also predicted Bilibili to win as well. I was smarter before the tournament than I was in the tournament. Because I think Bilibili showed a better level than T1 did at the tournament before they met. And AL showed a better level than T1 until they met. But T1, the Bilibili series, after they played it, that was the best series they played all year. And then the Genji series, suddenly that turned into the best series they played all year. And then somehow the AL series turns into the best damn series they've played all year. Which brings me, guys. To Bilibili got so overrated. The thing is, T1 did not look good against CFO. I don't care what you're gonna say, guys, but they did not look good against CFO. Like, Keria had to pull rabbits out of a fucking hat to carry that series. That was one of the worst series for Faker. Keria and like Owner was not visible. Junjia played better in that series. Doran and Keria needed to do crazy shit to even get them to 5. They looked horrible here. And that was the point of comparison. Keep in mind, Bilibili, beat Fly, they killed Fly. And Bilibili already started rolling, But T1 ramped up, man. Pre-tournament Yamato was way smarter than in-tournament Yamato. The main thing now for tomorrow, guys, as we break down tomorrow's series, T1 versus Genji. And the last time we saw them, I think that in this one, Genji was so damn disrespectful. Genji are very capable of playing slow games when it's necessary, right? They are very, very capable. The game 4 was an absolute banger, but Genji, I think their draft was not that great. And the difference between winning this game and losing this game came down to Keen giving the enemy Nocturne an exit in a fight where Chovy finds a ridiculous angle. And then finally, in this game 5, regardless of what you want to say about Ambessa or whatever, I said it when the draft landed. I think the T1's draft was atrocious. Really, really bad. This draft is ass. It's horrible. It's really, really ass. There was no more things that could have gone better for you. No more things. Like, your early game went as good as humanly possible. There was nothing that could have gone better. And still, I think the team fights would have been hard. But of course, Jinx stealing the Drake, and then Ambessa inting, and Lee Sin misplaying. There was a lot of misplays in that. But this top side is insanely hard to break, but Cannon got fucking smoked. He misjudged the timer of Lee Sin, and Lee Sin skipped, and Nidalee got killed on the level 2. The main thing, guys, as we move into this finals, T1, you're going to talk about how T1 is clutch, but I think it's important to also highlight that Genji have players that are insanely clutch too. And there's been something about Owner, Owner against Canyon does not look like himself. He doesn't. There's something off about Owner every time he plays against Canyon. There's something off. I don't know what it is. This year in particular, you know? So we are moving in now to finals where everything is just riddled with fucking clutch meisters. Absolute clutch meisters. I think Duro, it's funny, nobody's talking about him being like a rookie at an international event because he's playing so damn well. Like nobody's talking about Duro being a rookie. Nobody. Duro is playing his face off. He's playing his face off. My main concern with this series is that I still think this series, Gen.G didn't play as good as I believe they can play. I think if Gen.G bring a similar level, I think T1 can beat them. But I don't think this is their best. I think Keen had a rather sloppy series. I think Chovy on Rise was rather sloppy. First 20 minutes, the Ari game was sloppy too. But I think Gen.G will ramp up. I think they'll be even better in this finals. I don't think these are players that crumble up. I think Gen.G is the only team at this tournament that haven't shown their ceiling. And I think this is the final they would do. No one has managed to beat Gen.G yet. No one has. T1 probably has the best chance to do it. They for sure have the best chance to do it. To really tear away that magic and just give the T1 fans fuel to keep them warm till the end of times. It's once again, guys, the same thing as yesterday, guys. The same thing as yesterday. I say, my brain tells me Gen.G has shown better League of Legends. I think they can bring a higher level. I'm not really bought into Faker's performance at this tournament. My brain, which I'm going to use to predict here, is leaning Gen.G. I think Gen.G should win. That's it. Gen.G should be better. Should be better. They should be better. They are playing better. They should be better. But if your heart tells you T1's gonna win, follow your heart. It works. It works. It fucking works. That's it. It works. I think Gen.G's winning though. I also thought the AO was gonna win because they played better league at the tournament. Lights too bright, bro. T1's got built-in sunglasses, baby. They really do. How Alive should have been better too, yeah. Everything was pointing towards How Alive should beat them. They just went 5 games with Gen.G and we didn't think too much about them getting reverse swept, but obviously that had a big fucking impact on them. And T1 just found crazy momentum. And I just want to bring up something here, guys. KT, let me, like, you know, they lost to Damwon, the worst Eastern team at Worlds. They lost to them. Look at this. Look at this game. This is game 5 to qualify them to Worlds, guys. Wait, this is wrong. Is this the real game? Yeah, it is this game. So DK beat them, guys, to take the first slot for Worlds. Okay? DK beat them. They fucking beat them. Someone beat them. The worst Eastern team ever. Like, they sucked. They sucked ass. They really sucked ass. KT was in rhythm, guys, to beat them in game 5. And I'm bringing this up because of how damn close it was that T1 don't even make Worlds. And then they win a game 5 final still. They won a finals. This was like a nightmare. LeBlanc found so much gold, you know? It's like, even though the gold is ahead on T1, it's like LeBlanc is sitting on so much money, man. KT was better than Damon for sure. They were. Damon was ass. The reason I show that is because somehow they made, you know, the spirit of DRX fucking lived through them. Additional details for tomorrow. I do think that T1 probably has better team play than Genji. I like their team play more. I like their setups a little bit more. Genji, though, I think in terms of their mechanical ceiling, somehow is better than T1's. Somehow. That's what's so nuts about these guys. Genji has a higher mechanical ceiling than players like fucking than this team, which is crazy. It's nuts. It's so crazy. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. Genji has way deeper pools because they have insane individual players. And I said at the beginning of the tournament, guys, in my breakdown, I said Genji as a team, they are very flawed. But it's okay to be flawed in Fearless as long as you are individually great. And they are the epitome of that. Fearless has brought back the power of the individual. If Genji loses finals, would be considered a failure? Of course. Of course. It's a massive failure. Genji was giga favorite. They haven't lost a single series. They haven't lost a single series entire spring split. They've been untouchable. Untouchable. Who's your MVP? MSI MVP as of right now? As of right now, I can only pick one from each team. Right? So we need 3. Let's have 3 candidates. 3 candidates. Doran for T1. Shanks. And then I have to say Canyon. Canyon overtook Keen in my mind after yesterday. Canyon has had some of the craziest highlight reels of anybody this tournament. Keaton's not going to repeat that performance? I don't think so either, yeah. Doran is ass, he's not consistent. Like, I know MSI is at bad hours. Maybe you can't catch all the games, but, you know, maybe don't make opinions based on, you know, when you're not watching, you know? Don't make opinions when you're not watching. It's always the same, you know, like, I really care about narratives being accurately portrayed. Like for example, I got annoyed earlier when people say T1 never lose to LPL, which at Worlds is very true. At Worlds they've been farming LPL. Yeah, 2022 they farmed JDG. They farmed them at Worlds, but at MSI LPL has fathered T1 for the longest time. Fathered them, literally adopted them, put them in their backpack and took them to school, which is fine. Which is okay. We're talking about the MVP, not a player who did a few moments. It's okay. I'm going to time you out for your sake. For your sake, okay? For your sake. Take care of yourself. Alright? For example, the narratives like they came up, it's like, oh, T1 never lose to LPL. Guys, they lost to RNG 2022. You know? They had the perfect spring split, you guys remember? Perfect spring split T1. The crazy T1. Perfect spring split. Then they lost to RNG at MSI, right? 2023, they lost to JDG. And they lost to Bilibili. Which is okay. Which is okay. And then 2024, they lost to Bilibili twice. Right? They have lost to LPL. It has happened. And they were called chokers. Yeah, they were called chokers. I remember that shit. They were called big chokers. They couldn't win World Finals. They couldn't win Summer Finals. They couldn't win MSI Finals. They were collecting finals losses. I just think, for me, it's so important to tell the story right. Because I think imagine you have a movie, all right? Imagine you have a movie where the hero has no setbacks, has no failures, has no fall throughs. It's a boring ass movie, bro. It's a boring story. Tell the tale how it is, you know? Tell the tale how it is. Because the fact that T1 won Worlds 2024 is a miracle, bro. It's a miracle from where they were. Barely qualifying to winning Worlds in a Game 5 where Faker does unspeakable things on Silas and Galio. It adds to the story. It adds flavor. It adds so much spice that just makes it so delicious.